Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm here to bring you the 2024 update on my YouTube video of renting to traveling healthcare professionals. So let's go. And to get started, I have a huge change in my bio, which is gonna drastically impact this video. So I have been a traveling speech language pathologist for years and years and years. I started in 2010. And this year, I'm calling it quits. I'm like, I'm done, this is it. And really the nail in the coffin is the price of housing. And so many of you over the years come to my website, my YouTube, and comment that, we are gonna charge healthcare travelers whatever we want to rent our units, and you guys are gonna have to deal with it. Like, we control the housing. And I don't think you understand that you don't. And that is gonna be the core take home of this video today, is that nobody has to work traveling jobs. Nobody has to stay in temporary units. If I ever go back to traveling again, it's going to be in an RV, hands down. That's the only way I'm gonna be able to do it. So I wanna empower you to still be able to rent to travelers without you essentially closing down the market. Because right now we're seeing this drastic decline in the travel healthcare market in general. A big part of that are the hospitals. They're wanting to use less travelers. They're pushing us out. Essentially, like, I'm getting paid more to work 30 hours a week at my local hometown hospital than I would essentially be making as a traveler when you put everything together as to our entire yearly take home. And I think a lot of you guys don't understand that. You see, oh, they get a housing stipend, they get a lot of money. What you don't know is that, for instance, like, I drove cross country 2 times this year. I drove San Francisco to Rhode Island to Seattle. Seattle's my home. Both of those times I didn't get paid to do that. I didn't get paid for any time I had off, and my contracts didn't line up. So I had to take like 6 weeks off in between jobs that I wasn't getting paid for. And that entire drive, I only got paid $750 for gas, for housing, for food. Like, those stipends you see that you say, oh, we should be able to collect that whole stipend from those travelers. We need to use that for other living expenses that you're not taking into consideration. We only get paid when we are working a job, and there's no guarantee that our jobs are gonna line up, that our jobs are gonna be close to each other, that our jobs aren't gonna take thousands of dollars to get to because you have to fly or drive across the country. So there are a lot of unknowns, and I want you to know that, because if a traveler is trying to negotiate with you online for less money, it's not that we're being selfish and keeping all this money to ourselves. It's that we have a lot going on, and ultimately travel is a decision that might not bring in people more money. They might be doing it because, kind of like me, they love the travel, but at the end of the day, everybody's got to make a choice. And I think for me, the big stopping point of travel for me was, I was in Rhode Island, and in Rhode Island, I was living in the house with a nurse. So side note, I do think travelers are always going to be able to find housing to some extent, because other healthcare providers are always going to rent to them. And I always think that that's kind of our best market. Like, if you can find a nurse or any healthcare provider in your hospital that's willing to rent to you, I always think that's like the best deal, because they get it. Like, they're not trying to overcharge you. So anyway, I was living with this nurse. She became a great friend. I had a great assignment there. And then I'm looking at what's next, and a job in South Dakota was paying okay. And I'm thinking, okay, I've never been to South Dakota, like, why not? I know it's the middle of nowhere. I know it's like gonna be the winter in South Dakota, but I'm like, why not? I applied to the job, and then I looked at Furnish Finder for housing, and there wasn't a single unit in this kind of small town in South Dakota going for less than $2,200 a month. And like, really, that was it for me. I'm like, am I gonna pay $2,200 a month to live in South Dakota when I have a home I'm paying for in Seattle? Because remember, We have to maintain homes to get those stipends. Like, no, I'm gonna go back to Seattle. It's kind of like this wake up call, like, what am I doing with my life? And I'm telling you, travelers are getting that all over the country. And I understand the cost of housing is increasing for everybody. And that's why maybe you're gonna watch this video and say, renting to travel nurses, healthcare providers is not for me. They don't have the money. And maybe like that, if you can get that from this video, like awesome. I've said my piece, that's great. But yeah, it's the price of housing is knocking the whole travel nursing, travel healthcare industry. And the fact that hospitals don't want to pay for travelers, so they're just paying their staff more. So anyway, that's kind of my story of the past year. And if you've watched my old YouTube, when I taped that, I think that was in 2022 or 2023, like I was a traveler, I was actively taking assignments. But yeah, I've just decided it's not worth it anymore. The money's too unpredictable. The housing's gotten too expensive, and I just don't want the stress. And you might be seeing that in your rentals. You might be seeing there just aren't that many travelers anymore. And for you, maybe it is just time. It's time to switch. Like, I'll let you know in the rest of this video of what travelers really want, but maybe where you are, it isn't going to work regardless, because maybe your hospitals aren't using travelers anymore. I have some notes here. Okay, so number one, kind of into the info part here. If you want to rent to healthcare travelers, I would absolutely put your unit on Furnish Finder. I would say that's the place where most people just look for units kind of automatically. That's like the barometer that we use to kind of test an area. Again, when I was looking at South Dakota and thinking, oh, should I apply for that contract here? I looked at Furnish Finder. And when there were so few units at such a high cost, I was just like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Like, I'm not going to scrounge around the internet looking for something like this is a door closed type of situation. But you can also use Airbnb. There's other websites popping up. If you do want to stick to like social media, like Facebook, or just kind of word of mouth, I would recommend also at least having your unit listed on Furnish Finders. There's so many scams on Facebook. A lot of us have been scammed out of money on Facebook. So just listing on Facebook, it can be dicey. And which leads me into another point, is that travelers are going to be cautious and afraid to send any deposit money. And it's not necessarily that they don't have it. It's that they might have been scammed out of money, or they know somebody who's been scammed out of money. So asking for big deposits up front can be kind of scary, and it can draw people off from renting from you. So that's an issue I would say you mainly run into off of Furnish Finders, versus Airbnb doesn't do the big deposits. Sometimes they have like a half deposit or something like that. So that can feel like a little more secure. But again, it just depends on where the travelers are looking for units. Airbnb, Furnish Finder, Facebook. Again, people on Facebook are going to be really scared of scammers, okay? So, get your unit on those sites. If you want to do your own marketing, really the best is if you can connect with people at the local hospitals or clinics that use travelers. So this is networking, and I can't tell you, what to do. This is your community. You have to think like, do I know anybody who works at the hospital who could spread the word for me? Like, because there's always travelers coming in and out of the floors. Like, do I know anybody who can let people know about this? Or, maybe there's a bulletin board. Some hospitals still have like bulletin boards that I can put my information on. What can I do to get that info out there? And then of course, once you start renting to travelers, word of mouth can become really easy. A lot of the units I've stayed at have been kind of passed down from traveler to traveler. The one I stayed in Hawaii is a great example. Like, I did find that one off of Facebook because I was asking in a travelers only group that was like really small at the time, do you know any bedrooms for rent in Honolulu? And somebody knew somebody, kind of passed them on to me, and then I ended up passing that person on to multiple people after me. So you can get this word of mouth train, but it kind of has to start somewhere. And that's a little bit of the harder part, is like, kind of finding that one person that can get you an in and then maybe pass your information down to others, but it is out there. Okay, next up with what travelers want is we don't want these crazy rules. And guys, like, on my website, I have the comments turned off. I'll leave them on YouTube, whatever, but you guys write the craziest things in my comments, to the point that I'm really like, are these real people or are these my friends messing with me? Because I have the type of friends who would just be like, oh, I'll make her laugh. I'll write the most bizarre comment trying to be a crazy landlord, and that'll make her laugh. Because I get these comments, a lot of them, and I have to approve comments to put on my website. A lot of them I don't even approve because they're wild. You say things like, I have a unit, I don't allow alcohol, I don't allow like candles, I don't allow guests, I don't allow noise after 8 p.m., I don't allow people to come in my kitchen, I don't allow people to cook fish, like all these things. And then you're like, I don't know why I can't find a traveler. Like, come on, like, you see, the work is all within. A lot of this is inner work, guys. Like, if you want to rent to travelers, you have to loosen up on the rules. And, and even like, sometimes I really wonder if you're in violation of your state laws. Like, I've had people in California say some really wild stuff to me, like, oh, you can't bring gas, or oh, you can't do that. And I didn't end up renting to these people, but in my head, I'm like, I don't even think that's like legal in the state of California. Like, you can't create all these rules and expect people to want to live on your property. Some of them are just crazy. Now, if you do have rules, obviously be upfront with them. You don't want to get somebody who is not going to abide by your rules, but you don't mention them up front. Like, yeah, obviously mention them, but really, like, again, traveling healthcare professionals, we're adults. We're working very emotionally draining jobs. Our work is hard. Like, to have to follow all the rules in our units all day long, dealing with the public in the way we do, and then come home and be like, oh, I can't light that candle, I can't cook fish for dinner, I can't do this. Like, it's the wrong people. I mean, good luck to you. I think the reasonable rules might be, if you want to have pets or not, like smoking on the property, stuff like that. But yeah, and then obviously if you're not booking people and you're getting emails and the emails are asking you to be lenient on your rules, like if you keep on not booking people and people are emailing you saying, can I bring a dog? Or, can my boyfriend live with me? That's the other wild rule I see all the time, is it's like a 1-bedroom, 800 square foot apartment, and it's like only one person can live there, cannot have 2 people. Well, a lot of people travel as couples. A lot of people travel as pairs. Like, one of them might be a healthcare professional, one might be a work from home employee. So to say only one person can live in a unit, that's a rule that I think closes a lot of doors for people. But, if you're getting people who are brave enough to message you, see what the concessions are. Like, if you're wondering what people want, listen, get feedback from anybody who's interested in your unit instead of just turning them down. Because that's what I hear a lot, is like, I have all these rules, and then people email me and say, like, they're even fine with the price, but they're like, I just want these things. I just want to bring my husband, or I just want to bring my pet or something, who's been on 10 jobs with me, stuff like that. So it's like, you gotta figure out, like, where can you come to terms here? And again, I'll say this a million times, renting to traveling healthcare professionals just might not be for you. It might not be in your books, and that's fine. I'm trying to be as upfront as possible, especially because I think a lot of you were fed misinformation during the pandemic. A lot of people popped up out of the woodworks being like, you can make, blah, 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 X number of dollars a month renting to traveling nurses, and this money is going to last forever. when in fact it's just not. Like, the industry is back to what it was when I started, if not possibly worse, because again, the cost of housing has gone up so much. Now, if you are still with me and you're like, despite all that crazy, I still want to rent to traveling healthcare providers, what do I need to provide in a unit? This is what I recommend. I think the most sought after units are the affordably priced, like ADU or basement units, meaning it's like a private entrance, private unit. That's an affordable price. Again, you're not price gouging. Maybe it is like a fully separate apartment, but like whole separate apartments just honestly tend to be out of the price range for a lot of travelers. So we tend to live more in like smaller ADUs or basement style units, or renting like a room or an ensuite in somebody's house. So privacy is important. Price is obviously important. Having a private bathroom is important. If you are renting out a room in your house and it's a shared bathroom, you know, expect that you're not going to be able to charge as much as if you're able to offer a private bathroom. As far as amenities in the room, again, like things are, you know, fairly basic. I would say blackout curtains are the big things. A lot of healthcare providers work nights and sleep during the days, so get those blackout curtains, maybe a sound machine, a good mattress, and change that mattress like often. Some of the more miserable units I've stayed in have been because I could tell the mattress had been there forever. So get a good mattress that you're changing out, you know, every couple years or whatever the recommended amount is. And you know, have the basic necessities, kitchen supplies, bowls, like Tupperware, coffee machine. I always think the best travelers' apartments are the ones that have been obviously lived in. Like personally, I like it as a traveler when stuff gets left behind or I leave stuff behind. So say I have like some wet wipes or a bottle of like all-in-one house cleaner that it makes no sense for me to take with me, and I leave it behind for the next traveler. Like I personally like those kind of lived in apartments that have everything. Like you get there and there's garbage bags, there's cleaners, there's maybe some salt and pepper. Like personally, that's kind of what I like there's hangers, but yeah, just basically having everything that you need without any additional luxuries. Again, like your mattress doesn't have to be a $3,000 mattress. The most comfortable mattress I've ever been on that I actually bought for my own bed was, I found out from my landlord, a $250 mattress off of Amazon. And like, I swear by this mattress, it's amazing. It got me through my prophylactic double mastectomy surgery when I had to sleep on my back. So it's like, the mattresses don't have to be expensive, but again, you know, they have to be, you know, in good condition, like not used, because sleep is very important. So yeah, like basic rooms that are comfortable for sleeping, have basic amenities. These don't have to be luxury units. They don't have to be over the top. It's really we just need simple things. And I think a lot of landlords are trying to kind of spin the narrative of like what travelers want. Like they're saying, oh, I'm going to rent this luxury unit with this pool and I'm going to charge this amount of money and you're going to want this because like I'm offering it. And the fact of the matter is, yeah, maybe we want it, but it's just not in our budget. We're not getting the money that can justify that kind of unit. And again, I'm taping this end of October 2024. Maybe things will change if our rates end up going up quite significantly. That could be a whole new conversation, but I would say this is like the state of the union of travel therapy housing, in my opinion, in October 2024. So I know you guys are gonna come at me with some stuff in the comments, as you always do, and you know, we'll see what you come up with, but it's always interesting to hear the perspective of landlords. I will say that. So, bye guys.